Hey, everybody. Oh, you're seeing my messes today. I usually have this all cleaned up for when I'm on book club. We'll just do that. Eilers-Heffner, Sapphire Ambassador, real life, this time, real life. And we're doing Get Over Yourself, chapters 7 and 8. So my disclaimer here is that I was reading this book. I was like, I'm determined to read the book and not use Audible. And once again, I got my Audible, and I'm so glad that I did, because I'm listening and reading. And I think that these two chapters are super important to look through and get fresh in our minds until it can become more second nature to us. And I think that if we aren't getting those objections that she's talking about in chapter 7, then we probably aren't talking enough about the business and presenting it and asking enough questions about the business to get objections. So if you're not getting objections, then you're probably not asking enough questions yourself about your prospects coming in. So I think what I know is that Rock Your Purpose is really, really, really good at recruiting people to get on their products. We're really good at helping people get started on their products. And what I think that we're all learning how to do more effectively is to help people get started right away with a business. And that's where these two chapters in particular, at least so far in the book, I don't really remember from reading it before, but these two chapters in particular give tons of information and those tips and tricks to really be specifically talking about the business. And really the whole book, this whole book, like, she didn't seek out to get people to have skincare products. She was looking for people that wanted to build a skincare business. So when we adopt that mindset and can default to the products, then we're going to have a more successful business overall, and definitely help more people, because not only are we helping people with their financial trajectory, but you guys, we all feel better on our products, right? So it's twofold. We aren't just helping people have more income, we're helping them feel better too. And so it's kind of a no-brainer, really, when you think about it that way. So I just really thought about, wow, if we're not getting enough of objections, we're probably not asking enough questions about the business. So treating objections like a request for more information. I love that. I'm like, this is great. When somebody has an objection, it just means they need more information. And it really gives us a great opportunity to ask a question back, to ask a clarifying question. So I've asked clarifying questions of my children, and they're my kids. So they're like, well, I don't have blah, blah, blah on the Xbox. And I'm like, whoa. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know what you got. I don't know what he has. I don't know what your friend has. Like, I don't know how any of it works. I'm just asking a clarifying question over here. Well, our friends, our prospects are not going to bite our heads off when we ask a clarifying question. Okay. They're not our kids. Do I have this in speaker view, or am I recording it all funky? Nope, sure don't. Okay. There we go. It records. It's harder to get the recording if we have it in that gallery view. So pardon me over here. So then really just not getting defensive and not getting into defensive mode, really important. We don't want to turn into that, oh gosh, I'm so offended that you have more questions or something like that. We definitely don't want to be defensive like my kids are when I ask a clarifying question. And we don't want to get into convincing mode. And we can do that. You guys could be very convincing. We all know we can be very convincing, but that doesn't create long-term business growth, one with the products or with the business opportunity. Okay. If we're having to convince someone to do this business with us, it's not going to be long lasting. So we really have to help people come to their own conclusion. So using feel, felt, found. I understand how you feel about, not wanting to be pushy. I found that I felt that way before, but this is what I've learned. This is what I found. And I have a hard time saying, well, I understand how you feel about that, if that isn't truly something I struggled with. So then I would say something like, well, I can totally see how you could feel that way. Like, I totally see that perspective, because we don't want to discount what they're feeling, but we also don't want to lie to them, be like, oh yeah, I felt like that too. Yep, I totally get it, because we all don't have the same struggles. And so it's okay to just say, hey, I can totally see how you would feel that way. And this is something I've learned, and move on that way. So common objections, we kind of covered this on that call a few weeks ago, but not having time, and then just asking that clarifying question. Well, how much time do you think that you need? And depending on who I'm talking to, I'll even say, well, I didn't have time either. I didn't have time. I was working my butt off, just working and taking care of my children. But I did less housework. Honestly, I gave up some things. I delegated more to my husband. I asked for more help so that I could create more time to work my business, because I saw value in it. So depending on who you're talking to, you can say, I didn't have time either, but I figured it out. But also, asking people, well, how much time do you think it would take? Or, well, do you have 30 minutes 5 times a week, even if it's broken up, even if it's 15 minutes and 15 minutes, because when we really, really can build up to like gold, getting into senior gold in that short amount of time. You really can. If you're effective with your time, if you're working hard, you really can use that time wisely. We are learning a little bit more of some more detailed IPAs, right? And that's okay too, because there are definitely days to spend more time doing IPA. That's why we have Action Stack and 222. But also, when someone is just getting started, they can easily get started in 30 minutes a day, right? And then once we can continue to uncover their why and push them a little bit more, we're going to help them see that they can put more time into it. And then, well, I don't have enough money to invest. Well, if someone's really struggling with $100 investment, I mean, that's your welcome pack and your $10 membership. Our startup is very different than this company that she's referring to. But saying, gosh, like, I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't help you be able to have more than $100 spending money every month. That really does come down to that. If we see people struggling to make $100 investment in themselves, in their health, and in their business, then we really know that they need our business. So that's a little bit different. But also, you can say, well, if money wasn't an issue, would you be ready to start in? Would you be ready to jump right in? And then repeating their why. So the other thing that I love about this book is that she's helping people to uncover their why before they even really know hardly anything about the business, right? Or even maybe too much about our products. It's really helping people see that they can dream, and that they can do more, and that they can go after those things that they didn't think they could have. So really going after their why way early in this whole discussion with them. Well, I don't want to bother my friends. Oh my goodness. Well, why do you think you would be bothering your friends? Asking that clarifying question. Well, I wouldn't be a good coach. I wouldn't be a good friend if I was letting you bother your friends. However, I want to be able to coach and teach you how to help your friends overcome their financial and health obstacles, right? Like, of course, we don't want to bug people. We're sharing something that we love, just like we share our favorite restaurant, share our favorite toothpaste, share our favorite recipes, share our favorite movie. It's just sharing something we love. And this one's good too. If you come across as bugging people, then you're not being coachable. Like, there you go. Like, it's okay to have some bold statements with people. Like, put it back in their court. Okay, well, if you think you're bugging people, or they're telling you that you're bugging them, then you're not being coachable. Like, that's kind of good. Now, obviously, you're going to be very kind in saying that, but it makes a point. I don't know enough people. Well, how many people do you think that you need to know? Asking that clarifying question. I'm not going to read every little thing about these, because these are all of these objections. She gives these like 2-3 paragraphs of how to help overcome that, exactly what to say. Now, those are her words, but we can extrapolate from that, and we can put this stuff in our words. And the more, this is why like the Audible version is good, because I can listen, right? And okay, helping these things ingrained in my head so that I can then bring them up when I'm talking to people. I'm not a salesperson. Well, why do you think you need sales experience? And I love that she asked a clear, my tendency is, oh gosh, well, I didn't have time either. Do you think you have, 30 minutes every 5 days a week? Not really saying, well, how much time do you think you need? And that's a good question to ask, because sometimes people think, well, I need 6 hours every day to work on this, so we can help clarify what their impression is. So why do you think you need sales experience? I have a lot of PT friends that I worked with. They're like, I could never do what you do. I can't sell. I'm like, we work in a hospital. That's where I came from most recently, is hospital work. I said, you sell mobility every single day. You can sell vitamins. Like, I just lay it out for them. Where, you don't think a physical therapist is selling anything. Well, we certainly are. We really are. And the timing isn't right. Okay, well, when would be a good time? What would make it a good time for you? So some people really do have a lot of time constraints, right? And truly, once they get past a certain point, then their time is a little more freed up. But generally speaking, there is no perfect time. That's never going to happen, ever, ever, ever. And so helping them see beyond that. So keep that in mind too. Like, a lot of people think it's not the right time. Well, what does make it the right time for you? Is this a pyramid? Well, what do you mean by pyramid? Asking those clarifying questions. And a lot of, corporate America, you guys, it's the boss is up top, the CEO and the upper management. And then you have your middle management and you have your workers and yeah. So I like to point that out to people as well. And then chapter 8. So she's just not that into you. Sorry, Steve. I know this book feels a little girly at times. However, I'm like, if you could just replace it with he, then it's going to work, So what I also wanted to talk to you guys about that really makes sense and that she's kind of bringing up through here, but if you're not doing your IPA properly and you're not actually talking to new people, if you're just circling back and revisiting the people that you continue to follow up with, and you're following up with the same people over and over again, that's a constipated funnel, right? But if you truly are reaching out to new people about the business and having that opportunity and truly doing your IPA properly, then your funnel is going to be more full. And you're going to be much less attached to any one decision, right? Because if you have 10 people that you're talking to about the business, if one of them says no, you're like, it's not a big deal. You have these 9 other people. And I think sometimes we get so passionate and we see this potential in someone and we keep talking to them. And this is kind of what she works through in this whole chapter, but we are attached to what they're saying to us. And we really need to detach from that and keep moving and talking to new people. And the other thing is that your friends are going to see like, oh, wait, somebody just posted on Facebook that Elizabeth helped somebody do this great thing. Like, maybe I should be paying attention. Maybe she could help me too. So you're going to inspire your network when you are helping new people come in and be successful, because they're watching what we're doing. And so the other thing is that we have to be our own recruiting rock stars, so that the more people we're recruiting and helping to get started with this business, then the more attention that's grabbing, even from the people that are just ordering their products from us. They're going to see it in the team page. They're going to see it on our wall. And so that's going to help them see themselves in this type of business too. So you can't lose what you don't have. So keep that in mind. If someone hasn't come to you and said, I'm ready to start my business, I want what you have, I want the Lexus, I want the trips, I'm ready to get started, then you can't count on them being a go-getter yet, right? So don't count what you don't have. And even when you have people come to you and say, I'm ready to get started, and then they ghost you for another month and a half, that can happen too. Okay. So it's okay. Human behavior is weird. It's okay. It happens to everyone. So don't feel like you did something wrong. Okay. So again, just not asking clarifying questions, not getting a commitment or not. You don't have anything to lose when you say, hey, Mary, I don't know, you don't seem that interested in this. You don't seem like you're ready to jump in. I just don't think this is the best fit for you. When you're kind of going to take it away from someone, then they're like, wait, no, I want on that train. I want to do this with you. I want to go to Hawaii. Like they're going to say, yeah, you're right. This isn't a good time. And then again, it allows you to circle back to their objections and their questions, right? So helping them make a decision. Oh, okay. So, and if they say something like, wait, no, I'm ready, or not, I'm ready. If they say, yes, I am still interested, then you're like, all right, great. Let's get you signed up. I'm free tomorrow at noon and I'm free, Thursday at 3 p.m., whatever. You're going to set up that time then to get them enrolled, because now they've said pretty much, oh, all my questions have been answered. Yes, I'm interested. So if you're not sure what else to ask, or if they say, well, I'm still not, I want this, but I have more information, but I don't know what else to ask kind of situation, you're going to have to decipher a little bit. Maybe you're going to have to say some questions too, like, okay, you're interested. Do you have other questions, but you're just not sure what they are? And they say, yeah, I just have some hesitations. Excuse me. Then you're going to get them on a 3-way call. And she's big on 3-way calls throughout, like get them on a call to help get them started anyway. Sorry, I'm going to mute for 1 second, you guys. Sorry. Apparently all my talking is getting me choked up, so I must be passionate tonight. And then you can also remind them, like, I'm not here to convince you of this. I'm not here to convince you of getting started right here. If this isn't something that you're not excited about, then it's probably not a good fit for you anyway. It's okay to, again, you're kind of pulling back from them and helping them make a decision in their brain if they're ready. And you can say stuff like, hey, it's natural to be nervous about something new. I'm here to support you every step of the way, and I think that we forget as adults that we're going to be new at something, or that it's okay to be nervous at something new. Like if I were to go get a new PT job in a new hospital or a new peds clinic or something, I'm going to be nervous. Even me, the blue over here, I'm still going to be nervous those first few days and weeks and months of getting used to a new place and new paperwork and new people, right? It's normal to be nervous with a new thing. And sometimes with network marketing, with our business, people go, well, I shouldn't be nervous about it. I should know everything. I should be prepared. And that's just false. It's okay to say, you can learn this. I'll do it with you. We're going to work together, So that is something to keep in mind too, is that that might be a good clarifying question to ask. Like, do you feel like you have to be an expert at what I'm doing right now? Like, I'm here to help you. We have the information to help you. 3-way calls. So this is really talking where people are still dragging their feet. They still don't have a decision after a 3-way call. So it's our job to uncover, ask for more objections. And a lot of times it's either going to come down to them not wanting to invest the time, or that they have a lack of belief in themselves. Okay. So you can say, do you believe you have what it takes? I believe you have what it takes. We're calling out what we see in them. You're really hardworking. You really love people. You're really passionate about health. You're really passionate about travel, whatever. We're calling out those things that we see in them, but if they don't see it in themselves, it's going to be a struggle. Okay. And then I love that she said this. This was a really good point. We are not therapists. We can point out the good things. We can pull that out of people a little bit as their friend, but we're not therapists. And so we can't make somebody believe in themselves. This is a business. This is fun. We have a very supportive and tight-knit community. Absolutely. But it's okay to say, when we're getting down the line with people, it's okay to say, I am here. I'm praying for you. I'm supporting you. But have you ever thought of, if you see something that we can't help people with, because we're not therapists. Okay. That's just my disclaimer. And then on page 118, I loved this, you guys. She says, I'd be honored and thrilled if I were somehow part of you learning how capable you are, and that you too can have something successful, lucrative, and fun to do on your own, of your very own. Would that make you happy? So, pointing out that you can see them doing this, but can you see it in yourself? So these are just really great tips to help people move forward or not. And it's okay. It's okay. Let that go. It doesn't mean that we don't continue to love on them and follow up with them. In our case, if they're not ready to start the biz, then we're like, let's get you feeling your best every day. Let's make sure you feel the best that you can feel every day. We have great products, right? And then don't be afraid of having more blunt conversations. I think that we get really nervous about it. But sometimes when we're tiptoeing around things, people are like, what is she even asking me? I don't even understand. Where we say, hey, are you ready to get started and bring in some cash and help people feel better and build their businesses? If we're not saying those things very directly, then they don't know what we're even talking about. Hey, do you want to go silver? They don't know what that means. Don't say that. Don't say, do you want to go diamond with me? Like, no, you don't pull that out. You say, I'm going to the top of the company. Are you coming with me? Because this is why you'd be great at it. You can say that. And then saying that we have, or not saying, but we have the privilege of helping people. It's not a burden. So when someone says, I don't want to be responsible for everyone else's success, she wrote it as a red flag, which I can see that side of it. But when I would hear that, I would say, well, we can't make people do work. But if I see someone as having that hard work ethic and success in themselves, I'm still going to want to work with them. So just a little bit of a tweak there. And then I also really love how helping someone move forward, you can kind of put them into action mode here. So on the top of 120, ask them to do 3 things. So you're asking them to start doing a little like mini IPA assignment almost, and you can kind of get a feel for where they're at. And we know, right? We know action cures all things in all areas of our life, really, unless you really just need to sleep and rest. But for the most part, if we want to change something in our lives, it comes from some sort of action. And then she addresses that they've gone MIA. So again, this is for you all to hear. This is normal to have it happen. It does happen. It happens to all of us. Okay. So we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. We're not going to be like, oh, she hates me and she doesn't want, I've had people disappear because something terrible happened in their family, So of course, giving them the benefit of the doubt, still, following up with them, still saying, hey, like, I'm not attached to your decision one way or another. So let's just still jump on the phone and talk about this, reassuring them that we're not attached to their decision. Some people will say, oh, I don't want to disappoint you. I'm like, you're disappointing me. How are you disappointing me? I don't want you to disappoint yourself because you can do this. Right. And then if you read through on page 121, she really has this whole thing laid out, but I'm good. You can tell people like, I'm good at what I do. I'm good at helping people. Until you tell me flat out no, or that you just really don't want me to talk to you anymore, I'm going to keep checking in with you from time to time. What is it that Fallon says? Like, you follow up until they die or they block you on Facebook. So that's extreme, right? But we definitely don't give up on people, and we can tell them, like, I'm still going to pop in and talk to you from every now and again. I tell people I still want to hear how you're doing and how the kids are. And so just make sure that I'm going to check in with you from time to time, and just really keeping your emotions out of it. And then this is really good. And my husband, she said her husband reminded her of this. My husband has reminded me of this, that even when they have the same information that we have, they may not still make the same decision or have the same actions that we do. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, and that is okay. These are still amazing people in our lives, right? And we still want to continue to help them see that they can do this too, but it just might not be the best time for you or for them. And then our job, right, is to talk to people, to love on people, to add value on our social media, and to keep talking, talk to more and more and more and more people. So if you haven't gotten that out of 8 chapters in this book, then go start at chapter 1 again and reread, because our job is to keep doing our IPA properly, and really talking to a lot of people. So I really like that. And like when there's a lot of conversations going, it definitely does feel less stressful with any one of them, right? It doesn't feel like, oh gosh, I have to get this person to join me, it doesn't feel like that. So keep that in mind too. All right, you guys, let's open it up here.
Don't mind the crying in the background if you can hear that. I didn't put Drew to bed, obviously, because I'm on the call and she's messed up. So, the convincing part, just like I know I'm not supposed to convince, but I still find myself sometimes with certain people, like leaning towards kind of convincing them, and it adds stress. It adds urgency, stress, all of the bad feelings that you don't want. And then you're not enjoying it at all. Like you're not enjoying your IPA anymore. You're not enjoying like trying to help people. Like your mindset's just wrong. And as soon as I read that, I was like, okay. It's like a weight lifted right off my shoulders, because we're not trying to convince people. Offer them what we have. If they're not ready, we can't make them be. So that was one of my favorite parts, along with all of the responses to the objections. I kind of laughed at some of those, but those were good.
Well, why did you laugh? Because I'm like, this is gold. Is it?
No, that's why. Like, it was just so good. I was
Okay.
thinking like, yes, this is exactly what I want to read. I want the straightforward answers. Like in the last couple chapters when she talks about, I think it's like 5 or 6, I think it's in chapter 5 when she is giving exact examples about how to reach out to the pain points that we talked about last week. That was gold too. So this book just has so much good stuff. She's so straightforward, but that's kind of why I was like smiling reading it. Like, yes, this is what I've been looking for.
So this is a physical therapy analogy for all the therapists out there. I had a patient this week tell me that she went to a Joyce Meyer conference last weekend. And I saw her Monday, I think it was. And she said she went to a conference over the weekend, and Joyce Meyer said, if you want to be better, you got to do better. And so my patient came in and she said, you know what? I'm going to do better. I haven't been doing my home exercises. And that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not getting better. So I want to be better. So I'm going to do better. And that's what it reminds me of, Elizabeth, when you keep going back to, are you doing the IPA properly? Are they doing the IPA properly? If we want to be better, then we got to do better. We got to actually do the things, because sometimes, just going to be quite frank, like I think I'm, as I've been learning and growing through all of this, there have been times that I look back that I'm not actually, I haven't done the IPA properly. So it's just doing a self-evaluation to say, are we actually doing the things that we were taught to do? Are we actually, and one of the main things that I love about our team is we're so focused on helping people. It's not getting joins. It's literally helping people. That's why I love this team. I absolutely love it. Everybody's so full of integrity, and we're not being false in anything. And so literally whenever we go back to the root of it, you know, are we doing the IPA so that we can help people? Are we reaching more people so that they can feel better? And just, you know, that's one of the things that I have to periodically say to myself is, am I doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing to be able to help more, you know, more people? So I can't take the silence. Somebody has to say something, or else I'm just going to keep filling it.
All right, I'll jump in here. Like I told Jackie on the first night with this book, I nearly skipped over this going, the title doesn't interest me. I thought it was more having to do with, you know, psychology of, you know, your inner voices, get over your darn self. And it surprised me. It's more of like a step-by-step guide on how to build this business. And I'm getting a lot out of it. I would say the biggest thing so far, and I agree with a lot of what's been said, is, you know, don't be connected to the outcome when you're talking to people. You know, if they get involved, great, fantastic. We're glad to have them. If they don't, if it's not for them, that's okay too. And from a perspective of getting involved, I was definitely not looking to get involved in the business when Beverly put her post out there. It was something to do with the paint drink. I don't even remember exactly what her post was, but at the end it said, if you comment on this post, I'll send you free samples. And I'm like, sure, I'll give it a try. I don't even know what it is. Let's give it a try. And then when I found out that it had to do with gut health, that's when I was sold, because I'm a Crohn's patient. And if this could help me, I'm in. That's all I wanted. I'll walk away, just give me the products. And then they started leading me along. Hey, we're doing water challenge. Join in with us. Hey, we're doing belly blaster. Jump in with us. It'll be fun. We're doing book club. Just hop on and listen. And it's like that little TikTok. Have you guys seen that? Come on, little fishy. Come on, little fishy. Just take the bait. And that's kind of what they've been doing. They're just kind of leading me along. And so now I see it. Now I see, you know, hey, I'm sitting on a diamond mine. You know, this business has so much potential out there, not just for me, but for other people with maybe financial issues or health issues. And all I got to do is share. And so I've enjoying the
I loved the part about, like, if you feel like you're being pushy or you're bugging people, that means you're not being coachable. And actually, we can talk to people about that as we're talking to them about the business. This Monday, I had a conversation with somebody that wants to, I potentially do the business. She's not signed up yet, but we had like a half an hour conversation, and she's done another network marketing company before. And she's like, I never really want to feel like I'm, bothering people like they always say. And I was talking to her about not being attached to the outcome. I was like, there are tons of times when it's kind of like, and I use the example of, it's kind of like a waitress offering coffee. Sometimes people want coffee, sometimes they don't. And it's okay if people say they don't want coffee. And she loved that example. And she's like, oh my gosh, that puts it into such good perspective. So like, don't be afraid to use those examples with people too. And it also was really validating that, we in our team and on largely the Pink Power team are just doing this correctly. So please like read these books, listen to your sponsors, do things the way that we're talking about it, because she was like, you followed up with me a few times about this. I've talked to this girl for the last 2 years about doing this with me and or starting the products. And she's like, I never have felt like you just wanted to make a buck off of me. You never made me feel like you just wanted me to join something. And it really means a lot. And so that makes me feel comfortable knowing that if I do start sharing, I won't make people feel that way too. So just know that we are teaching the right way, we're doing it the right way, and you're probably not bugging people anyway. And you can tell people the same thing when you're talking to them.
I love that. And I really think a lot of times when people don't get back to us, it's not because we're bugging them. It's literally because their message got buried. Their kid took the phone for some reason, it's just so many things. And people are not, they may be stressed about finances, but unless they realize that this is an opportunity that would help them with that, they're not really thinking about it. And then they're not thinking of Plexus for their probiotics, right? They're thinking, oh, she has that pink drink. I don't need the pink drink. I need to meet my bills. So that's really important. And the whole like coffee thing, like I never drink coffee in a restaurant with my meal. Never, ever, ever. I don't think I've ever, or I mean, maybe breakfast, but I'm talking dinner. However, I will definitely change my mind with like a dessert time or something like that. And so, there's plenty of situations in which people are going to that switch is going to flip, and they're going to want our opportunity too and our products. So don't forget about that. The staying dog scratching at the door. Okay, bye. So the other thing that I thought of as well, and gosh, did I lose it again? Anybody can be a jewel. Oh gosh, what was it? I thought of it twice now. Okay, hold on. Somebody say something quick. Oh, now I know. Got it. Lauren, you said we're doing the right things. We're training the right way, right? And we also have a ton of training. So I know that there's a lot of information out there for Emily Gibson and Brooke Hemingway and Bob Heilig and all these people like that want to coach you and have all these extra training services and things like that. And I think that, I don't know. I think that if you are interested in doing something like that, if something's catching your eye, then you should talk to your sponsor and figure out if you think that's beneficial and why. I have really never, ever, ever paid for outside training. I've never gone to any other sort of conference or anything like that. I've done some masterminds of John Maxwell books with a John Maxwell coach. That's actually Rochelle Osborne's husband. I did those when I very first started my business. And he knows the Plexus business, right? So it was also geared towards that. But I think that sometimes even as we're like doing our IPA and seeing different things on social media, we're like squirrel, like, oh, maybe we need that training. Maybe I need that training. That's going to unlock this for my business. And maybe, but kind of probably not. I really have to say probably not. But reading a step, but like Steve said, a step-by-step guide to your business is going to, because you have to put these things into practice. And then the more we're doing them, the easier it is, you know? I mean, gosh, as a adult, there were several years I did not ride a, did not ride a bike. It doesn't mean I forgot how, right? I was still able to get on a bike and ride. There's plenty of things that are skills that we can learn and they can become second nature. And a lot of these conversations that we talk about, those are definitely it. So like I said, if you just have to fumble through it a little bit, right? Until it gets better. It's just like when everything is new at a new job, you don't know where the bathroom is. You don't know where the lunchroom is. You don't know where the drinking fountain is. Where are the fire extinguishers? Like we as therapists, you know, we had to know where's all this stuff because it's part of our little health, our quizzes or whatever we did every year. Like, oh gosh, where are the fire extinguishers? When I go to a new gym, a new vacation spot, a pool, where's the AED? Like I'm looking for it. I don't know those things. We have to figure it out. You have to learn it. So don't be afraid of hard work. And if you really plug into the resource that we have and truly invest in the resource that we're already doing, then you're going to learn a ton. So that's my disclaimer.
Well, and to add on to that, don't necessarily even just be an information gatherer. Like you don't need to go to every single training about mindset, and you don't need to go to every single training about anything. Once you've got some training, then put it to use and do it and practice it, because you're really not going to get better at something unless you do it and you mess up a few times and then you do it again. So if we're always just like, well, I'm going to watch another video and another video and another video. Yeah, that's great. But if you're not applying it, or you're going to these different trainings and then you're not applying it, then what's the purpose anyway? So I would just say, if you do, seek a lot of information, just make sure before you seek more that you actually practice some things and work through some things and take action too.
All right, you guys, anybody else? Speak now, or you have to make a video. Ha! How do you like that? Which that also kind of goes in with this. If you have something that you have listened to or learned and it's really meaningful to you, make a quick video, like get that out to the team, because it really does kind of click at different times for everyone. And so that can happen. And so anytime that, Charlotte teaches on something or Lauren teaches on something, even if I've taught on it or whatever, it's going to come across differently coming from them, and it might click differently for a whole new set of people. So don't be afraid to train and get those things you're learning out into the team page. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for getting on.